When it comes to Bitcoin, some countries are betting big and playing the long game, but others are fumbling the bag. So why is Germany selling off billions in Bitcoin at a time when they might need it the most? Let's mine deep. In 2013, Germany seized nearly 50,000 Bitcoin from the operators of the piracy website Movie2K. At today's prices, that stash is worth over $2.3 billion. But instead of following the buy and hold strategy countries like El Salvador are embracing, Germany has been steadily liquidating its holdings. In 2024 alone, they've sold more than $2.8 billion worth of Bitcoin. And there's more on the chopping block. Why does this matter? Let's zoom out. Germany, the largest economic powerhouse in all of Europe, is starting to look a little shaky. Their debt has ballooned to over 2.45 trillion euro, with 36 billion budgeted just for interest payments this year. And now, with growing public discontent over fiscal policy and economic stagnation, Germany has called a snap election. The timing couldn't be worse. At a time when their economy desperately needs innovation and resilience, Germany is selling one of the most promising reserve assets in the 21st century. It's like selling the family jewels to pay off a car loan. So what is really at the heart of Germany's big Bitcoin blunder? It's not understanding the low time preference aspect of Bitcoin. The problem that Germany and many countries still have is that they still haven't understood Bitcoin on a monetary level. They only see it as a speculative asset, with all the played out analogies of tulip bubbles that come with that. But the rest of the world is beginning to wake up. Finance committees, central banks, and even presidents are beginning to put in the 100 hours it takes to realize that Bitcoin isn't just another asset to flip for quick cash. It's a generational asset like gold, something to be accumulated, not liquidated. So why should you care? Governments are slow to the whole Bitcoin thing. A few like El Salvador got the head start on their Bitcoin strategic reserve way back in 2021. Now, Trump's talking about doing one for USA's Bitcoin stockpile.
Multiple analysts are expecting Bitcoin will hit $100,000 before Trump's inauguration, especially if he delivers on promises like launching a strategic national crypto stockpile.
The real question is, where's your strategic Bitcoin reserve? Because unlike governments, you can start stacking your sats effortlessly with Fold. Let's run through some math that the German government forgot to do. Fold offers Bitcoin back with over 50 national brands of gift cards, which means you can buy groceries or shop online and earn anywhere between 2 to 11% of your purchase back in Bitcoin. Oh yeah, and if you signed up through the link below, you'll receive a 20K sats bonus after your first purchase through Fold. Germany's government might have dropped the ball on their sat stacking journey, but the race is fully in motion everywhere else. And maybe one day, they'll have a shot at their strategic reserve again, with an up-and-coming politician from there who actually gets the value of Bitcoin. Oh yeah, and we got the exclusive scoop. Don't miss Joana Cotar, Backstage.
Will Bitcoin become a political force in Europe?
Well, I hope so. I'm doing my best to push it forward. I'm a member of the German parliament, and I created an initiative, Bitcoin in the Bundestag, Bitcoin in Parliament, to educate my fellow MPs what Bitcoin is, what positive outcomes can come out if they adopt Bitcoin. And if a lot of people do that, if a lot of people talk to the politicians, then maybe we have a chance that it will be.
And how are you educating them? Or what's your go-to point of showing them the orange light in a way?
Well, we have a website and we have a newsletter, and most important, we have events in the German parliament where I invite Bitcoin experts so that they can explain to my fellow MPs what Bitcoin is about different topics, about energy, about human rights, about the store of value. And we have a lot of MPs and their employees coming to these events and listening to these events, so this gives me a little bit of hope.
What do you think is the biggest obstacle for European governments in adopting Bitcoin?
I think it's fear, to be honest. Europeans tend to be very careful about new things, about new ideas. They don't see the chances first, they see the risks first. How can we regulate it? How can we protect us against it? Instead of seeing the opportunities and saying, well, let's grab the chance. Let's see what positive outcome can come out of this.
So, how do you see Bitcoin playing a role in digital rights and individual freedoms, especially in the context of increasing governmental regulation and surveillance?
I always call Bitcoin the freedom currency, the freedom tool. It's like Alex Gladstein said, it's the Trojan horse of freedom. So you adopt it because of different kind of reasons, but it always comes with freedom. And I think it's the most important thing during the times we live in. If you see the oppressions of the people in countries like in regimes in China, in Russia, etc., where they are not able to voice their opinions, but you see that more and more in the Western world, where censorship is there. If you saw the trucker protests in Canada, where they defunded the truckers and they switched to Bitcoin. So that's a tool for us, for the individual, to get the sovereignty back, to fight back against governments, against politics, against the central banks.
But now I do have to ask about all the Bitcoin that Germany sold.
Well, yeah, 50,000 Bitcoin. Saxony sold that. I wrote a letter to the Minister of Finance, to the Chancellor, to the Minister of Saxony, and told them, stop it. Stop it. You're making the biggest mistake. I suggested to think about a Bitcoin strategy instead. They didn't listen. They sold it. They still didn't come together and thought about a strategy. So that's what we're pushing for, to say, okay, Germany needs a Bitcoin strategy. So if something like this happens and the law was like, you have to sell it fast, that's the law. We need to change the law in Germany so that the next time we confiscate Bitcoin from a criminal, we keep it as a reserve for Germany and don't sell it.
Germany keeping the Bitcoin from criminals. And what is another approach that you would suggest Germany do, like a Bitcoin approach? What would it be?
Well, there are many possibilities how you can adopt Bitcoin. You can make it illegal tender, like in El Salvador. That's something which won't happen in Germany soon. But you can have it as a reserve. You can buy Bitcoin and have it as a federal reserve, as a store of value to fight inflation. You can issue sovereign bonds backed by Bitcoin, for example, or you can mine themselves. The state can mine Bitcoin themselves. So different strategies you can adopt as a nation. You just have to think about one.